My name is Min Pai, and I'm the PACE and Employability Coordinator at the PACE team at the Macquarie Uni. Thank you so much for your time and thanks for being here. I'll do a quick intro of myself very shortly, but to start off with, we would like to start with the acknowledgement of the country. So I acknowledge the traditional owner of the Macquarie University land, the Wallumedegal clan of the Durack Nation. We pay respect to the elders and knowledge holders who have and continue to share their wisdom, knowledge, nurturing and sustaining our environments, culture, and education. And also, I would like to advise to all of you that this session is being recorded. So that those students or the staff member who is not able to join in today, they can watch the recording later on. So thank you so much. Okay. So to start off with, so this is the agenda for today's session. So definition of your brand. What is your brand? What is a personal brand? Power of a brand. How to create your personal brand for your internship, positive personal branding. And we will be closing over the session with a panel discussion. We got 2 alumnus and we got the current student joining in today, and they will do the quick introduction of themselves before we start off the Q&A session. So again, my name is Min Pai. My background is from hospitality to HR to recruitment to now I'm at the higher education. So I have my fair share of developing a personal brand as an international student, as a domestic student, and also from my HR background, recruitment and higher education. So I'm so honored and happy to be, doing these sessions, and a bit of housekeeping rules as well. If you're not talking, can you please make sure your mic are mute? And if you have any question, please feel free to type it in the chat box, and we will have a number of us are monitoring the chat, and we will address your question accordingly at the end when we do the Q&A session. All right, so thank you so much. All right, to start out with, if I ask you, what is your understanding of a brand? If you ask maybe 5 people, there may be 5 different answers, but the meaning will be the same, right? So to me, the best and simplest way to define what is the definition of a brand is using the quote from the Jeff Bezos. And he's the man that who doesn't need any more introductions. And so he said, your brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. So when you think of it, it's very true. I'm sure that maybe recently, if you were a student, you have to describe someone and you forgot that person's name. So you may be saying like, oh, do you remember the students that always well dressed? Or do you remember that student who always late for the lecturer? Or do you remember the students who always contribute the positive and meaningful, discussion in the tutorial? So those are the personal brand that they describe about you when you are not in the room, okay? And for the next slide, it's about what is a personal brand. When you look at it, right, a brand is a collection of perceptions. I just mentioned it. What is this? How others see about you? And also, believe it or not, whether you realize it or not, everybody has a personal brand. It is about personal brand is allow individual to differentiate themselves by leveraging off what makes them unique. Everyone has their unique style. How you look, how you speak, how you act is become your personal brand. So it doesn't matter whether you're students or colleagues or when you are at work. When you look at it from one person to the another, they have a unique style. Some people are really good with as a good team player, and some people are really good with budgeting. Some people are really good with presentations. So that become your personal brand. And also, when you look at it in details, like the way you smile, the way you talk to other people will remember how you act around them will become your personal brand. And the good thing is, personal brand is quite flexible. Think about it. When you were a high school student, the way you act in your high school years, and when you are at uni, the way you present yourself in front of the crowd or at work or at school is different. Okay, so that's why when I say it's flexible, it can be born from your experience and reflect reputations. And also, when you have a chance to meet the student from third year, and when you're talking to a student from first year, you can see a little bit of difference, because maybe third year student may have a bit more experience, and maybe they may have a bit more. They may have done the internship. So the way they talk and the way they present themselves may be a little bit different. They have seen the reality of the industry. So, it may be as small as the way they dress may be different already, because when they are at work, they will see how other people present themselves. And then when they bring that experience back to the uni, you may see a bit of a difference between first year and the last year student. I'm just giving you an example. Okay. All right. The next one is, I would like to make my point by, just playing this activity. So if you can guess, please feel free to put it in the chat. But I believe that, by mentioning these brands and people, it will kind of make you understand a bit better on why personal branding is so important. Okay. All right. So this logo, I'm sure that everybody knows this logo. So when you see this logo, I want you to think, what is the first thing that comes into your mind? To me, this is the Kentucky Fried Chicken. I love it. And this is the, maybe some people who are interested in history, the founder of this fast food chain is the Colonel Sanders. A bit of a history behind it is very inspiring. And this is the brand that is the second largest restaurant chain in the world by sales, by measure of the sales, after McDonald's. Okay. But if you are the very health conscious person, you want to stay away from the fast food and such. But there's a thing about, I would like to share this brand with everyone. Everybody, when you see that brand, it came so many things in your mind. So that's how you understand about this brand and how, your understanding of this brand. The second one, again, only you see the tip of this brand, already, it's Apple. So to me, when I see the brand, I can, the first thing came into my mind is Steve Jobs. And it make our life a lot easier by creating the iPhone. Or some people may be thinking that, I really want to get that new iPhone Pro Max, which is very super expensive and such. The brand will come to your mind with so many different meaning. Next one, I'm sure this one everybody knows. Ferrari, if you are into Formula One, you may remember Michael Schumacher, one of the best driver, the sports have ever seen. Or you may see, I just, that brand, whenever I see this brand, I see a rich person driving it, the Ferrari red and all those flashing their money. I don't know. But the thing is that this is the brand that associate with the sort of, perception that come to your mind. Okay, the last one, if you were students, and if you don't know this brand, I will be so concerned. Okay, this is our uni. And then when you see the logo, Macquarie University, we got a beautiful campus, and our master program is very popular. We are the top 2% of the university in the world. And this is a fact. When I was doing the research for this presentation, I found very interesting and proud thing about our uni. The medical hospital that we have, it is the first private and non-for-profit hospital that ever exists on the Australian campus. Okay, this is something that we should be really proud of as a Macquarie staff and the Macquarie students. So those are the things that associate with the brand. So this is only a logo, right? In the next slide, I want to share why personal branding is so powerful. So when you read this sentence, I'm pretty sure that some of them already know who this person that I'm about to show. I have missed more than 90 shots in my career, and I lost almost 300 games. It's no other than Michael Jordan. The reason I use him as an example is, even though he's retired a while back, Air Jordan, stay people wearing it, and also, he is talk of like when you talk about NBA or basketball, his name will always come up, okay? This is a famous quote from him that people stay using it until today. Next one, I'm not quite sure whether some people may guess it, some people may know. You have to believe in yourself when no one else does. Serena Williams, who recently retired yesterday, she's going down in a history as greatest of all time in the female tennis. Okay, winner of the 23 Grand Slams and all those things. So those are the code that they have made that people are, when they hear that sort of code, they kind of think of them directly. All right. So this person is a bit unique, and I'm not quite sure. Someone, you guys can guess or not, but I'm pretty sure you were kind of like, okay, I kind of know who he or she is. If someone offer you an amazing opportunity and you are not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. It is Richard Branson. The reason I use him as an example is that he is one of the leaders that very, unique. And if you are interested in this sort of leadership, he is the unique, meaning people can relate it to him. Like, he is the founder of the Virgin airline, and also he is also an adventurer. That, he's a part, and I think 1898, he is part of the team that used a hot air balloon to cross the Atlantic and so on. And I'm pretty sure that you may see a LinkedIn article or news article a few years back that he lost a bet to his friends, so he had to put the flight attendant uniform to serve the meal on the flight. So even though he's super rich, billionaire, he's like a normal human being that people can relate it to. But whenever you see the Virgin brand, you cannot, opt him out. He is always associated with that brand and such. All right. The next person is be the change you want to see in the world. Muhammad Gandhi is very powerful quote. He is the father of, non-violence movement. He's a lawyer, activist, and politician. And he is, whenever there's a revolution around the world, non-violence, peaceful way, people always come, his name always comes to our mind. And I got the last person. My baby is already more famous than you will ever be. Again, this person, this is the quote from her that is very famous, okay, which is true. But for me, when I see the quote, it's a little bit cocky, nothing wrong. She is super rich. She's famous for her beauty and everything. But whenever I do the presentation, when people see this code and this person come up, they smile a bit. I don't know what's the meaning of the smile. Maybe you're the big fan of, Keeping Up with the Kardashian reality TV show or whatever it may be. Again, this is their personal brand. All right. So that is my point of, sharing all those logo and famous people code. And then you will see now clearly that why it is important. And you are like them as well. Okay, when you represent yourself, at the uni or when you're looking for internship, your personal brand will come into play. All right, so now in this slide is very important. I would like to share why there's 4 important steps that you can build your personal brand for your employment or when you're looking for your internship, for your pays or, your graduate role and such. All right, the first one. Grooming and personal presentations. It is very important. First impression count, okay? So today, imagine if I'm doing this presentation with my PJs on and if I didn't make my hair neat and tidy, of course, your first impression will be like, okay, why should I even listen to you? All right? And when you're going for an interview or when you are, meeting someone, whether you like it or not, they will make a judgment call based on their first impression, which only take less than 5 seconds. So dress for the occasion, okay? Especially when you are going for an interview, when you're going to the networking event, when, on campus, if industry partners are coming in to do the industry project for the PACE presentation or PACE class, please making sure that you dress for the occasion, okay? I'm not asking you to be like a model or anything, but you need to have that sort of personal grooming, and you have to make yourself presentable. And I always tell the students that, oh, you know, always dress for the interview attire. Once you get a job, once you're actually working in a company, you can kind of look around and you can adjust your attire accordingly, okay? So for the gents, make sure that you wear tie, business shirt, or depends on the company. Sometimes if you believe the tie is not necessary, it's your call, but always make sure that you dress for the occasion. For the ladies as well, you can put your business attire, make sure that you have the hair neat and tidy and such. Dress to impress is very important, okay? All right, the second one, emails and professional communications. Believe it or not, most of the time, before you even have an interview in person, the first way they will be communicating to you is by email or by calling to your phone, okay? Email, they can make the first impression by the way you construct your email. Instead of, I see occasionally people say, hey, instead of dear sir or madam, or if you know the person name, just use Mr. Smith, Miss Smith. Be formal. Email has to be formal, especially when it's come to the work related or interview related and so on, okay? Make sure that you've got a clear subject lines. Always sign off with regards or one regards with your name. Check grammar and spellings. The first impression count. And then professional communications. So people may ask, oh, what is included in professional communications? Everything. The way you speak, the way you write, the way you talk, even the body language in person, okay? When you're sitting in the interview room, and if you don't sit up straight and such, that shows it's part of the professional communication as well. And there will be a chance that you apply for a few roles for your internship or your job, and you may be in class or you may be occupied with something, and they will call you to your mobile. And this is the experience that I encountered when I was in the HR. I saw the resume, amazing. I put it as a shortlisted candidate. And when I have the time, I start calling the candidate. Resume, cover letter is really good. So when I call the person, on the other line, it say, hello. I say, yeah, hi, my name is Min, I'm from HR. Can you hear me? And then the other person said, hello, haha, I got you, leave a message. It is the voicemail of the person, and my face turned red in the office by myself. Even though your resume and cover letter is amazing, maybe the person forgot to change the voicemail, when they were in high school. Yeah, when they were in high school, that sort of voicemail message is quite catchy, funny, but when you are at the uni or when you're looking for a job, make sure that it is professional. As simple as, hi, my name is Min. Sorry, I'm not available to pick up your phone call right now. Please leave your name and your number, and I will call you back as soon as I can, okay? That counts as a professional communication as well. I just sharing that experience I found it funny. It's happened a few years back, long time ago, but I still remember it, so it's worth sharing it, okay? So I just want to making sure that emails, professional communications are very important. And the third one is resume and cover letter. If you ask me how important this is super important as well, okay? The best way to put it is, maybe some of you may international students, or doesn't matter if you're domestic students. When you're traveling somewhere, you have to show your passport, right? If your passport is not valid, the country that you try to get in won't let you in. Same thing. If you're trying to get a job or the internship, it's very competitive world out there. There will be other students from other universities applying. There will be other people who already have a work experience applying. It's very competitive. So your resume and cover letter has to be really, really, up there. You have to meet the industry standards, all right? And with my experience, when you're applying for the job, sometimes the potential employer will spend less than 10 seconds to look at your resume or cover letter. Okay, so with one glance, is making sure everything is there, well structured, well written, and then we put it in the shortlisted part, and then we will contact you later. All right, in that, before we contact you, I'll be reading your resume and cover letter a little bit more, spending a bit more time on look at what are your experience, how you write your resume and all those things. That is so important. And if you need any assistance with writing your resume or cover letter, please make sure visit on the Employability Connect. There's we have various workshops that are offered by our career services team. Please make sure you take advantage of it before you, start applying for the jobs and so on. Okay. All right. The last one is social media. This is a digital age. Okay. It is a true story. When I talked to some of the recruiter in my previous job, sometime before they even ask for someone to come for an interview, they check your LinkedIn profile, okay? Especially those jobs that high security and very strict company. They will do a bit of research about you online. And please do me a favor, after this presentation, please Google yourself. What does it come up? These days, you can Google any word, okay? Before I start this session, I just like, okay, I haven't Googled myself for a while. So I Googled it. And the first thing I can see is that my LinkedIn come up and followed by my Facebook. So, after this session, please do me a favor, Google yourself and see what do you see? What do you find out about yourself? And if you have a LinkedIn profile, please make sure that it is the professional profile picture, okay? And if you have a Facebook social media account as well, please make sure you use it for your own benefits. These days, social media is very powerful, and please make sure that you are utilizing the LinkedIn. I met a student; he secured 4 interviews through LinkedIn. Okay, and also I was listening to the podcast as well. One of the popular speaker from Tech Talk was saying that these days they really like using Twitter because you can tweet directly to the CEO of the company that you want to get attention from and such. So it is very true. So these days social media is everything for all our students that are looking for a job opportunity. Please make sure you utilize the LinkedIn and your social media presence for your benefits and so on. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, please make sure that you type it in the chat, and then there's a few of us are monitoring the chat room. And now I hope that this session is useful for you. This is just a basic 101 of importance of personal branding and what is the definition of the brand. Now, I would like to introduce my colleagues, Marianne. She will be conducting the Q&A with our panel discussion with 2 of our alumni and the current students. Okay, over to you, Marianne.
Thanks, man. Can everyone hear me? That's all good. Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Min, for that wonderful presentation on the topic of personal branding. As you may already know, PACE and the team itself for Employability U, we're all about putting theory into practice and how to be really reflective in the process. And as what Min have already talked about, the importance of personal branding tips and how you can improve that. We will now then move on to the next part of this session, and I hope you all are excited to that. We have invited 3 special guest speakers who will be able to impart you with wealth of knowledge and advice with their PACE experience and how really personal branding is very important for you to be more employable in your internship and in your career. So with that, yes, I am Marianne, and I'll be moderating the guest panel session today. So before we begin, just a few housekeeping notes. So if you do have any questions for our speakers today, please feel free to put it on the chat box and I would relay it to them during the Q&A session. And if you are finding any difficulties during this time as well, technical difficulties, feel free to reach out as well through the chat, and one of our team will help you With that too, I did see that most of the guest speakers are all here already. So they're all here, personal branding, being on time and all that, all on spot. So let me introduce them with just a brief introduction for our guest speakers this afternoon. So firstly, I do have Alex Wrench. Alex is a fourth-year law and commerce student pursuing a career in employment law and HR management. Alex used networking and personal branding to secure his space internship at a major Australian law firm, specializing in commercial, competition, disputes, and employment. And we can't wait to hear more about that as she shares his experience during the session. Second, we do have John Georgaklis. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Close enough, Georgaklis.
I would address you, John, in the rest of the session, if that's all right. John has graduated in 2020 after completing a Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical with honors, and also in the Bachelor of Commerce in International Business. He is currently the mechanical engineer at Santec, where he is responsible for the design and coordination of mechanical services in large-scale projects within the building sector. John is also the board member of the Greek Australian Society, a philanthropic non-for-profit group that works with Greek Australians all around the country. Talk about an achiever in his industry and the community as well. And not last but not the least, of course, we do have Janina Samantha. Janina has graduated in 2022 after completing a Bachelor of Science major in anthropology. And during her PACE unit, she has worked with the head of SEIB portfolio and Service Connect manager here in Macquarie, where she looked at the qualitative and quantitative research on the development of academic progression tools. Fun fact in regards of Janina's PACE experience, on the last day of her PACE, she submitted her last assignment for her degree. And then the following day, she started her first full-time work. What a crescendo transition. She didn't pause or go for any holiday, just went straight in. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest speakers for today, Alex, John, and Janina. All right. So I think to start the panel session, I just want maybe anyone can go first. If you can tell a little bit about yourself, I've already introduced you a little bit already, and share to us a little bit about your PACE experience or your internship experience. What were the tasks or the projects that you were involved in? If you remember the PACE unit that you did, and also the host organization. Anyone would like to start? I can see John though on my screen, so I can ask John.
I'll start. Marianne, look, thank you for having me. Great presentation as well. Just to reiterate, my name is John. I'm a mechanical engineer at Stantec, so we're a consultancy firm in the building services industry. Marianne, as you said, I completed a double degree engineering and commerce, graduating in the middle of 2020. And at my time at Macquarie, I was also the president of the Macquarie University Greek Association, or MUGA for short. So that's the largest cultural society that we have on campus. Going into my internship, there was actually a unit called Eng 4099, used to Eng 400. And what that was is a 12-week internship, and it was required by Engineers Australia to become a qualified engineer and to graduate. So I started my internship here at Stantec actually back in December 2019 after I finished my thesis. And what that 12 weeks included was learning the fundamentals of mechanical design for building services, familiarizing myself with the relevant standards and practices that we use, and just assisting the wider mechanical engineering team just in project-related tasks. So anything large or small, I was just there to help out. I guess since December 2019, I've stayed with Stantec ever since, moving up from an intern to an undergrad to a grad and to now an engineer. So that's my background.
Wonderful. What a great pathway as well, from PACE to the current.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank
Very
you,
good.
John.
I'm happy to go next. That's okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Marianne, and thanks, Min, for the presentation for today. So my name is Janina. I did a Bachelor's of Social Science majoring in anthropology from, I believe it was 2019 to mid-2022. An interesting fact about myself is that I have a father who is Indonesian and Muslim, and a mother who is half Thai, half Chinese, and a Buddhist. And so
wow.
the reason why I chose my major in anthropology was because I was interested in developing and deepening, my own personal cross-cultural understandings. And although I didn't end up in an anthropological field of work right now, I currently work as a project assistant in the Dean of Students office, which is the same host organization for my PACE unit. And my current team and I work on ways to increase student activation and a sense of belonging on campus. So a little bit about my internship experience. So it was a unit, the unit code was SSCI 3090, and I believe the name was Professional Social Research Project. And as my host organization, I worked with the manager of Service Connected, you've said, and the head of Student Engagement, Inclusion and Belonging. So that's the whole portfolio that we work under. And as the name of the unit suggests, it was a social and research-based sort of project. So the aim of the project was to develop an online tool. It's available now if anyone is interested in Googling it. So it sort of looks like a quiz, sort of like a tool quiz where students would answer a number of questions. And then by the end of that quiz, you would have a compiled list of tailored results full of recommendations and services which would suit the students' needs. And my role throughout the whole project was to basically provide feedback throughout the development process, to include student input through things like interviews, surveys, and questionnaires.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, that's a massive task, Janina. It's really good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Alex?
Yeah, again, I'll reiterate what everybody else has said. Thanks, Marianne. Thanks, Vin. It's really exciting to be able to come and talk to fellow students. I am the person who has not graduated yet. So, yeah, like Marianne mentioned, my PACE unit was at a major Australian law firm, Johnson Winter Slattery. I was involved with some really interesting work there that aligns very nicely with my studies in law and human resources. JWS, if people haven't heard of it, Johnson Winter Slattery, is a corporate firm. They're ranked best law and related services firm last year, and they're growing in a really, really nice way. They have 75 partners and are very interested in promoting up a new generation of partners and making law younger and more approachable rather than quite old and stuffy like we all tend to think of it as. I was really lucky to be able to help research court matters while I was there, provide support during mediations in employment matters. And that ranges from things like underpayment claims, workplace bullying, work health and safety, superannuation, everything that's like that. And also present on some very interesting upcoming trends in employment law. I'm sure that some people will be familiar with the Jobs and Skills Summit that was held at the end of last week. So that was a topic of what I was speaking about, and lots of other really interesting recent cases and things like that too. So it was a really wonderful experience, and I'm happy to be able to share it with everybody.
Oh, wonderful. It's a very hot topic as well in regards to employment law and all that at the moment. So we can talk a little bit more about that as well later on. But thank you, Alex. But in regards of just connecting the first part of the presentation about personal branding, what do you think is your understanding of personal branding, and why do you think personal branding is important for your career or for the internship that you guys just had?
I'll jump in first, and I guess speaking from experience and what I went through, I guess when it came to my career and how I secured my internship, it's all about how others perceive you and how you share your own image. So Min touched on it earlier, things like what you're wearing, what's your haircut, are you shaving, your mannerisms, just the way that you conduct yourself. It sounds superficial, and I understand that, but the truth is your interviewer only has limited time. They might only have 5 minutes. They'll look at you and they'll sit and they'll make up their mind. And I guess part of your personal branding, as much as yes, it is the superficial part, you also need to, I think, conduct a self-analysis and just ask yourself, what makes you unique? What are your strengths? What can you share and what can you display? And what image can you give off to other people? That's very important. And I think one thing I want to highlight is that you developing your personal brand doesn't start at work, or it doesn't start, later on. It starts now, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be, my time as MUGA president. That's the stuff that helped me develop my personal brand. It helped me develop my soft skills, and it helped me just become the person, the professional that I am today. And I guess for now it's working.
Yeah, definitely. I highly agree with you, John. I think that is a bit of a spot on in regards that you start now, especially with your, with the clubs that you have, because it does build your confidence as well when you show it to yourself in front of people too, and communicating to diverse people, which you do at work or you're in your internship. So thank you for that.
Definitely.
Thank you for highlighting that. Wonderful. Janina or Alex, if you want to add anything.
So I definitely agree with what John was saying about personal branding is how you sort of position yourself in front of your employers or peers or even your unit convener as well. Personal branding, it's how you want to, or how you choose to define yourself and how you want others to come to know of you. So it's actually really interesting. I watched a recent TED Talk about personal branding, actually just a couple of weeks ago. The speaker said something or had an analogy about Mr. Potato Head, and how Mr. Potato Head has all these, faces and eyes and mouths and heads inside of him. And it just depends on which one that he takes out that he chooses to show to the rest of the world. And she had said that nobody knows what is inside of you except you. So again, with what John was saying, it only takes a moment for interviewers to kind of make a decision or make an impression about you. And I also thought it was really interesting that earlier in the presentation, Min had showed a couple of quotes from famous people and how people come to know them. So through my own PACE experience, I developed my own personal branding. So I had relied on my being proactive throughout my PACE unit. So my mantra that I had made, which I still carry with me to my work right now, is if it feels like you're doing nothing, do something. And I believe that that's something that, reflected in my work. With my PACE unit, I was working with a whole bunch of stakeholders, and as we know, if you work with a whole lot of people, it becomes a little bit chaotic. So I thought, be proactive and get the work done, and that kind of shone through. And that's how I landed my current job today, which is with the host organization of my PACE unit.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you, Janina. I think, you can't do much if you're just passive into things. So you really need to be active and really participate in the process. So I think you reap the benefits on that as well during your PACE. So yeah. Alex?
Yeah, I think the really important thing to understand is that people meet your brand before they meet you. And that first impression that people get is not something you have any control over unless you start working on it right now. It can come from a reputation that precedes you, and hopefully that reputation is a good one. You don't want to end up infamous. It can come from your application. Whatever written material you submit when you're going for a job is absolutely going to inform how people think about you, regardless of whatever you put up on your LinkedIn, la, 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 la. And the last thing I think is really important is your network. Showing that you're well connected to other people in an organization that you're applying for, or just people that are connected to a hiring manager when you're going for a role, really, really helps them get a great picture of the people that you surround yourself with. Are they ambitious? Are they motivating? Or are they just, students, and you've taken your time and maybe not so plugged in to the organization that you're trying to get a spot at?
Yeah, definitely. I highly agree on you on that, Alex, in regards of networking and also like, building already your personal brand even before they meet you as well. Like as what I think Min has said as well, like, your resume is sometimes the face already before they even meet you. So if there's like spelling or grammar mistakes there where or you're saying that you do have attention to detail, but there are a bit of flaws in that, it does reflect in you already. So definitely, I highly agree with you on that. And what better time to build your network is now while you're a
Yeah.
student, and you do have all these platforms where you get connected to alumni and current students still in the program too. So yeah, thank you for that, Alex. And further into that question, how did you build the internship that you just had, the PACE experience that you had into your personal branding, for you to be able to apply into the next role, perhaps that you want to apply with, or the current role that you're currently at the moment? And do you think the personal branding is a major factor that really influence you to be a bit more attractive to the eyes of the potential employers or current employers that you're currently in?
Yeah, look, I think we've all touched on it. Your reputation as a professional, it's affected by the personal branding that you display and that you share and that you show off to not only just your employer, but other employees and other interviewers around you. I guess, look, the fact that I was offered a permanent position during the internship to become an undergrad engineer, it was proof that upholding a high quality of personal branding, it was noticed and appreciated. And look, I acknowledge that it's not the standard and it's not applied everywhere. There's always opportunities to learn and develop as a professional in these internships. And it's not only just the technical knowledge that you'll be picking up, you'll be reviewing what the team culture is like, how you interact with your workmates, I guess they become. Review what your manager's doing. How are they acting? How are they behaving? It's rarely just luck that actually get them into those high positions. So best to see how they present themselves and how they hold themselves, and try and take example from them as well.
That's very true. Thank you for that, John. And I think it's very valuable to have a mentor, is what Janina also has touched on a while ago too. So definitely.
Yes. So your second question about if you think that it makes you more, or your personal branding makes you more attractive or employable to the eyes to potential employees, I think absolutely yes. So for my PACE unit, I had worked with 2 other students. So it was sort of like a team experience. And just again, from my own personal experience, just by being proactive, I have stand out. In my opinion, I think I stood out compared to my peers, and that is again how I landed my current job. So yes, personal branding is so important. It sets an impression. It sort of leads something memorable. It's a story to tell just by, not just by your words, but your actions and how you carry yourself, and that shines in your work. And I think that, it reflects in what you do, and that's what your employees will see, and that's what they're looking for, and you'll think, or you'll ask, like, how will you or how will your work benefit them in a way that you can carry yourself as well. So yes, it's definitely important. And the first question, sorry, can you repeat the first question? I kind of forgot it already.
In regards of your previous PACE experience, how were you able to actually apply, which you've already touched on already, how were you able to apply the personal branding into your current role? So that was, which you've already touched on.
Yeah, just based on experience and then being able to talk on your actions. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Janina.
Yeah, I guess my thoughts on this, I haven't really had the opportunity to use my PACE to leverage into a new role because I am very happy where I am right now. But also I only just finished my placement a few weeks ago. So it's very fresh in my mind, and it's, I guess a really good way to leverage your internship into your professional brand is, even if you haven't had the opportunity to get stuck in with hands-on projects like the 3 of us have, you can show that by applying yourself at pace, you've gotten a taste for career life. You have an opportunity to get motivated to go beyond university and get practice, at least even just being in a corporate world in ways that you wouldn't in, the jobs that we take to just get ourselves through uni and get money in the bank. By incorporating that into your personal brand, you show, rather than tangible, I can go and do this, I have experience in this quite specific skills, you show potential. And a lot of the time, that is what a hiring manager is going to be looking for as well. It's that potential and it's that drive.
Yes.
And I think that being a part of a personal brand is just as important as the hard experience that you get from a more involved internship.
Yeah, I highly agree. Thank you for that, Alex. I mean, like, as what employers would always say as well, hard skills are something that they can teach any students as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Marianne, if I can just also add to what Alex was saying as well, because great points. Think about the networks that you're going to be making as well. You upholding and showing a high level of personal brand, let's say during your internship, even if you're not successful in a way of staying on after the company, you start to build that network using your LinkedIn, using your social medias, having a good reputation and starting there. If one of those employees decides to move companies and they're looking for a junior, you have that connection, you have that network. So it all starts there, and you've got to take advantage of that position that you're in.
Yeah, definitely. Take advantage as what you're a student. When you have a label as a student, everyone's actually very welcome to support you. So definitely use that card while you're still studying as well. So thanks for that, John. And there might be a few students attending this session for you three who are thinking or currently finding their own internship. What do you think are advice that you can give our students on how to approach organization in a professional way? Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, so my advice would be just think about what you want to get across to your potential employer in 5 minutes or less. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you're well groomed. Make sure you're dressed well. Make sure you've done that self-analysis and you ask yourself, what do I want to show? What are my strengths? What can I show to my potential employer and make them want to hire me? Make sure you're prepared for the interview as well. Research the company, their aims, their goals, their business strategies, and see if it lines up with where I guess you want to be and where you want to work. And I know I don't want to end it on a downer, but be prepared to fail as well. I applied at 30 internships before I landed this one. Just don't give up. Use each interview as an opportunity to improve, even if it doesn't go well. Ask the interviewer, look, thank you for your feedback. Why wasn't I successful? And not in a way of confrontational, but try and learn from your mistakes and use them to be better for your next interview, because you will get there, guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that, John. Such good tips.
Yeah, I definitely think that John hit all the important points there. So for my PACE internship, I didn't actually have to reach out to other companies because I was assigned one through a list of them. So luckily I didn't have to do that. I think the only other advice that I have to add is not to be afraid to reach out. There's no harm in trying. The worst that you could get is either a no or no response. So definitely put your foot out there and just, reach out to people that you'd be interested in working for.
Yeah, thank you for that, Janina.
My advice to get yourself into a really great placement is to make sure you go out and meet people and you do it in person. The best placements are not going to be publicly advertised. You will not find something great just by trawling through Seek for hours. It's got to come from your network. I was able to use my network and some, great contacts in law and employment to get my position at Johnson Winter Slattery. And you can begin to form those connections by doing really, really simple things. Just show up at an employee presentation that gets offered at the university and do it in person, not on Zoom. Go to, once you've done that, if you're looking for the next level, go and find some careers fairs that might be run by local councils or things like that. Beyond that, get involved at charity events. They are wonderful ways to meet people that are very high up in organizations that sponsor those charities. And from there, you'll probably start seeing invites to more exclusive professional networking evenings and talks and dinners and things like that. It will do wonders, absolute wonders, for getting you into corporations that have recognizable names and really, really great brands that add to what you can leverage in your personal brand.
Wow, that's good. Thank you so much for unpacking your experience, Alex, in regards of using your network to really able to secure one for your PACE. So that's amazing. I hope our students were able to get inside and put that at the back of their mind as tips if you want to source your own internship. And lastly, before I open the floor to our students for any questions, do you have any final words in regards of any final words of advice to our students about your internship experience that you would like to share to our students that are viewing today?
Yeah, look, internships are probably the most valuable thing that you'll get. Don't treat it like it's a chore. Please don't treat it like it's a chore. Whether it's paid or not, it's a great learning experience that you can develop your technical knowledge and build your personal branding and start building your network, like what Alex was saying. It's also a chance for employers to take you on permanently. So treat it like an audition, being positive, producing good work, displaying your best personal brand and constantly being the best you can be. It gives you the best chance to turn that temporary internship into a permanent job.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, John.
I think my advice would be to be open to all experiences, both good and bad. I think that those experiences will kind of let you know what you want or what you like or don't want or don't like for your future career. And again, they're open to doors. They're open doors to other opportunities in one way or another.
Wonderful.
There we go. My advice would be use your internship as an opportunity to not only get the knowledge that you need for your employment, but also develop some good habits. If you're up early to get to the city every morning, don't stop waking up early to get to the city every morning when your placement finishes. You're probably 20, 21 by the time that you're going for your PACE experience. It is no longer the time to be waking up at noon and showing up for class at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So whatever routines you develop, writing notes out by hand instead of typing everything, maybe if you're doing some stuff like what I was doing, you build good habits and keep them going when you finish.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for wonderful advice that you have, John, Janina, and Alex. I would like to open the floor to our students who join us today in this session. If you do have any question, you can unmute yourself as well and open your camera and you can ask any of us. Yes, hello. Was there any?
Yeah, we can hear you, Georgia, if you are trying to speak.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't look like we've got any questions. Oh, wait, somebody's typed one in.
Oh, there's one. Okay. We do have a question from Wei Du. And she said, how can we get a chance for internship?
So do you want me to take that one, Marianne?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So as a Macquarie University student studying undergraduate degree, there's a PACE unit built into all of your undergraduate degrees. So there's, depending on which unit you're doing, there would be an opportunity for an internship as part of that degree, or it'll be a group-based activity. Depending on you, if you're a postgraduate student, there are a number of internships embedded in our postgraduate degrees as well. So your best way to do that would probably be to check out your program and see if there's a unit in there that talks about internships. If it's like a paid internship, we do have opportunities advertised on Employability Connect. So and if you would like support in securing an internship in terms of resume or interview skills, networking, there's a lot of resources on Employability Connect. So if you'd like to reach out to the PACE team, we can have a look and see where you're at, what you might do as part of your degree. And then we can book you in with a careers consult with our careers team, who can support you with putting together applications and securing an internship.
Thank you, Kate. Wonderful. I hope that answered your question, Way too. And we have another one for PACE as well from Elk. Do we need to find our PACE internship ourselves, or is there support with finding it?
And yes, so the answer to that is it varies a little bit depending on what unit you're doing. Sometimes that we find internships and you apply to a collection of internships that we've got. Sometimes they'll be allocated to you. So if you have a look to and you can clarify what degree you're doing, might be able to help you out here. But once you've identified which PACE unit you're doing, you can find that information on Employability Connect to see what the specifics of your unit actually are. And then we will find you, that's a good, Jen's added a list in there. We have a number of jobs available on Employability Connect that can be used for PACE. If your unit allows, you can also find general jobs advertised that could be used as your PACE placement. So the starting point to work out what opportunities are available to you on PACE to find your unit, look on Employability Connect to find your particular unit, and that will then detail to you what the particular options are. And if you'd like support in finding the internship, if you get in contact with us, there's all those resources on Employability Connect and there's career consults. And we are more than happy to help you and guide you through that process.
Thank you. Yep. Jen has sent through some useful links on the chat box as well for anyone who would need more information about PACE. But is there any other question perhaps? We'll be wrapping up this session soon. If there is none, I would like to really just thank our guest speakers that joined us today for this session. John, Janina, and Alex, thank you so much for your time and for really just giving your insight and your knowledge to our current students. And I know that they've learned quite a lot and hope to use that to practice as well for their upcoming PACE internships. Thank you
for having us.
Thank you so much. And I'll pass it on to Min to close the session for today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marian. And thank you again for Alex, John, and Janina. I just listening all your advice, and then it was like, I couldn't keep smiling of, all the points that you're touching on. And as all of us are aware, students listen to our students and our alumni. So thank you so much for all your valuable advice. And I'm sure that is really helpful for all our students. So to officially close off the session, please remember that your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. I try to flip this PowerPoint. It will start. Okay, here we are. So starting from today, I hope that this session is really helpful for you. And if you are current students or looking for internship, it's all up to you now how you're going to move forward. If you put an effort on your resume and cover letter, it's your choice whether your resume and application will be in the shortlisted pile, or they're gonna flick it through easily because of the quality or the way you present when you are, going for the interview or just in your networking and so on. So please remember, your brand is what other people talk about you when you're not in the room. And I hope that this session is useful for all of you. And if you need any additional assistance, PACE team and careers team are here to help. And there's a useful link in our chat. But apart from that, thank you so much, and hope to see all of you guys again soon, and have a nice day. So, thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, John. Thank you, Janina. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fiona.
I really love Janina's. If you feel like you are doing nothing, do something.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, I think it's.
I love everyone's.
Yeah, I've got
I'll let-
quotes for everybody. I'll be
I like Alex ones too. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I've got
he's still here. Sorry.
I'm still here.
did an awesome job. Thanks,